Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of Mr. Parker's Neighborhood. And man, this is the year for me. I'm just having a great year because once again, I got somebody with me in the neighborhood who yeah, she ain't your normal neighborhood girl. That's about all she wrote. I want to just take time out to say hello and welcome to the neighborhood, Miss Jade Harrell. How are you?
Spectacular, and thank you so very much for having me.
All right, before we get started, I got a little thing I do with the viewers, and it's guess what my guest does. So here are your four choices for what my guest does. Are you ready? Here we go. One, is she a former rap star? Two, is she an athlete? Three, is she a dramatic coach? Four, none of the above. You know what? Y'all ain't gonna get that right, so it don't matter. Miss Harrell, could you tell them what it is that you do?
I am none of the above, but I'm all the above too, which is funny. I was like, yep, did that. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. But all of those things have come together for my story now, where I am a host and producer, radio, TV, and film. And I have my own company called Rare Gem Productions, which is a positive media promotion and consultation company.
Thank you very much. And there we have it. And then again, we went through all the prelims of saying who this is, Miss Jade Harrell. And now we're going to go to Mr. Parker's world. Hey, my sister, what's going on with you?
What's going on, brother? And it was because, see, that you threw me off with, was she a rapper? But I'm like, well, those were the tools. I was right there. Who stands next to, behind, keeps the cadence of the rappers?
That is.
That would be the DJ ability, ABILITY is where it started.
See that, man? Look, I have to say, I'm telling y'all ain't ready for this. We finna go, and you gonna even say, I did not know. Yeah, We have, because what? Rare gem. She's a rare gem. You don't understand what you got till you look into it. Anyway, let us go back. Where are you from?
The pun is intended. I am a rare gem from Colorado, Denver, Colorado proper. And many people say I didn't know they had. I haven't never met, or do you see very many? And answer is no, we don't. And I am one of the rare, but there's plenty.
Yes.
Just like people sleep and underestimate St. Louis about what it can do and all the greats that have come from there.
And matter of fact, on the first year show, one of my good people, Reese Archibald, she is from Colorado. I was like, wait a minute, Reese, you from where? Colorado? Okay, yeah. So and she's, like I say, acting, singing, doing it all up in the television world right now. We want to say, hey,
you know what I'm saying?
And like I say, her second season of the Johnsons went off good. Hey, nice. She doing things.
Yes, you have to connect us. Connect me with my homegirl.
Oh, look, I can do that. No problem at all. Now, as far as you say from Colorado, so as far as growing up in Colorado, what was, what did you do in Colorado?
Well, I found a world outside of my region through the albums. And I grew up with a DJ dad. My dad was a club jock. There were walls and walls of albums, vinyl, those kind that were everywhere. And turntables were my toys. I can remember as early as grade school, putting some mixes together and riding on my bike with the cassette player. And somebody had come into town and they had a recording of WBLS. And I heard Chuck D for the first time riding on my bike. And that's all she wrote. Like, that's where I knew I was called. Like, this is my rhythm. This is my cadence. But this girl was somebody who was very, very shy, would not speak up, did not speak publicly for sure. but I used the music, the albums, to be my voice and the extension of my voice. I was an athlete, actually, a record holder in track and field. I played volleyball. I played, contrary to popular belief, I did not do basketball, even though my whole family are exceptional basketball players. But I thought as well that I wanted to be an oceanographer. I was really driven, led, connected to the ocean. I thought the stork maybe dropped me in the mountains on the way to the ocean, and this was a grave, gross mistake. Because I'm not fond of the cold, and Denver offers a good bit of that. I grew up with a lot of different cultures where I started. My mom was young, so we grew up in the like closer to the city. She went to East High School and whatnot. But then when we moved to Montbello, that was an all Black neighborhood, and then I went to middle and high school in predominantly white schools. That's where the athleticism and stuff really got to make its play. But I also became the high school lunchroom DJ. So back then, kind of like that 90210, Beverly. And so I'm really dating myself. But and to make me older, when MTV had just got started, I was one of the first to play Michael Jackson's Bad, Run DMC, and put together some really great harmony with the different students that would come in for lunch. So it was all about, how do I create this universal groove in those spaces?
So was your school like a classical visual performing arts or fame, or you just got in this way, I got the privilege.
Right. Well, I think what they did, they had the setup for the DJ,
Okay.
but it was more for like announcements and maybe just playing some stuff. But once I got in there, it became a party. I started out with one lunch to where I was doing all three lunches. They want the mixtapes, and it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. And let's say, so, but you still had to get them grades right before you get, yeah. What you do today? Well, I was at all three lunches, all three.
Yeah.
You should have been in somebody's class.
Exactly. I did to put it that. So yeah, my grades were good. I've always been, if you were asking what my keywords were, it would be education, it would be community, and it would be music. And I feel like all those things have come together to where I am now.
So now after high school, we go off to college. What we do?
Okay, yes. Thank you pulling out all the truth.
Hey, I told you we going.
So I was at a predominantly white high school, but I had a great advisor, a Black woman. And she said, of course, my family, grandparents and them were like, well, that's not no future being no DJ. And what are you going to really do? And what kind of job are you going to get? But my advisor said, I think you would be great at Hampton. Okay. And I was like, HBC? Is that possible? For me, just the way she described it, I wasn't even aware. Like,
okay.
And so I applied. It was my first choice. I was accepted, and mom and everybody was happy about me going. And honestly, when I first got there, I didn't even know the Black National Anthem. Mm. I heard it. It had rocked my whole soul. Wow. And that first year was probably an experience that changed everything for me. Well, bro, second semester, mom and them were like, so you like it, huh? That tuition is pretty steep. And we're not so sure you're going to be able to come back. And I clung to the walls like, there's no way I'm leaving. I can't leave here. I can't. You just can't. whatever has to happen. And we weren't eligible for many of the scholarships. You know, my mom was a middle income, but middle income spread across the stuff is little to nothing.
Right.
And I also come from a family that's military. So my mom was Air Force, my uncle was Air Force, granddaddy and everybody had done some sort of military service. And Hampton has an Army ROTC program. And mom, she had been through it. So she's like, it's nothing. You'll love it. You get a stipend. They pay for your books. All you got to do. Well, that wasn't the whole story. And I ended up being really like Private Benjamin in there. What is this we're doing? And why do you keep yelling at me? And push-ups, is that necessary for every exercise? Must we use the bathroom outside? And so while I struggled in those areas because of my athletic background and my grit and determination, I maxed out on all the physical tests, the push-ups, the runs. Believe it or not, with this poor vision, even a sharpshooter, a marksman with the M16 rifle couldn't see jack. But I was like, I don't have to pee outside. I can do this. I got the scholarship, which helped me remain at Hampton. And of course, somebody found out that I had some mixtapes. And I was working out to them. Okay. Well, one girl she's like, can I work out with you? I was look, this body here come from. You think my kids are dope. They get it from some. But I started, I guess, training or teaching this woman who then brought another student, then brought another. So then I ended up with, my gosh, they had to open up the gym because I had over 100 women coming to do aerobics with me with this dope music that behind me. So there was my pizza money.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, that was my pizza money. And every break we had, I'd come home and make new mixtapes. Okay. I'd make them for the class. I'd make them for people to buy. And oftentimes I'd be called to do a party or college show or something along the way. And so I was a business major because what else do you do?
I'm about to say, you was hustling already. So yeah, might as well get the major in it.
That's funny you say that because you just made me aware of that connection. I was just trying to survive at the time.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you're selling mixtapes and you decide your business got set up. So I mean, so at least you're doing something that mom and dad could be happy making money.
Well, no. They didn't see nor recognize no of that entrepreneurial endeavor. The stipend was good. It kept me afloat and it kept me in school and I was able to do it. Now, I had gone from being absolutely terrible to mastering and really getting good at ROTC and became a top cadet. That disrupted the sensibilities of this sergeant who was over me. And on the final stages of, I guess, course completion, you're supposed to run a whole battalion, not just your little unit of 5 or even a squad. It was my turn to run battalion. And I tell you, I stayed up all night. I was precise, just like I would approach, a set. And I'm like, I got to get this right, double check, spit on the boots, shine the boots, So we're out there and he's going through the things. Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Cadet? And I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He didn't believe me. And I had checked every aspect of what I was supposed to do, had my team ready. He didn't believe me so much. He said, get over there and do what I said. And he pushed me. Well, I stepped into a crevice in the military boot and snapped my ankle. Snapped my ankle so bad that tears were splashing out. Like you could cry.
Right. But when you really, yeah. That's hurt.
Yeah. And in fact, somebody said she's hurt, get up off of her. Well, I never, they didn't end the exercise. We still stayed out there all weekend on this busted, swollen ankle. And he had me still be a sniper laying in the grass with this thumping ankle.
Right.
Right. But I took everybody out, took them out. And again, champion that exercise. So I say all that and include it in the story because that could have changed my fate. Even the success in that could have changed my fate. That following year, many of my friends went off to Desert Storm. I had my ankle reconstructed after all the damage and ended up flying back home to Denver and missing out on a good bit of my last year. In fact, did not graduate on time. So that was a real blow for me, in realizing that you can think that you're doing all the right things and following all the rules and crossing all your T's and dotting your I's, but your future, that certainty really can never be yours. So it was staying true to that heart and that passion of me that brought me to make that deal with myself before I came to St. Louis. Like, you know what, once and for all, I'm not going to keep this as a dirty little secret that I'm a DJ or, when I graduated, I went to corporate America. I worked in Cola corporate, international PR. Hated it. Hated it. But it was what you were told and expected to do. So I did develop those administrative and executive skills that I also see now. But finally, once and for all, I said I was going to go on and live it out once we came to St. Louis. I did miss out. I failed to mention the street life that emerged from graduation. So it's not quite street. I found church again and Jesus somewhere in the 2000s, and I came out in 92. So there was this period of time, but along the way, so from Denver to Atlanta, I graduated Hampton. My folks had moved to Atlanta. So when I graduated, I moved to a whole new city. And the first thing I knew to do was, go to the club and listen to the jocks. Get out, don't isolate. And who was on the wheels at the time was DJ Cersei, and then Chris Lover and Poon Daddy. So Chris Lover is now Ludacris.
Right.
And Poon Daddy's still probably doing some DJ stuff, but Cersei's still a notable DJ. And they were on the wheels that particular night. And I came up with my old Denver corny behind. And I'm like, yeah, I'm loving what you're doing. I'm speaking the language because I was getting into it.
Right.
And they said, how you know this? Because at the time there weren't any, visible, highly prominent girl DJs.
Right.
Like, well, what you know? I said, well, I did a little something. Oh, shucks, we got a lady DJ in the house. If it hadn't have been for the Long Island iced tea already,
you might have got a bottle of that.
I'll be standing here today. So I went on and all right, got on. Next thing I know, I was part of the syndicate. It was Nation Time Syndicate.
Okay.
And that's with DJ Nabs and
yeah.
Right. We got oh my gosh, so many are the folks that poured into me. Lil Jon, even
okay.
At the time, he swore he would never. Oh, can I say this? It's gonna come out. I better not. These were my partners. And shortly thereafter, Organized Noise and Outkast were about to come out.
Okay.
There was a girl group called Ruckus that was their counterparts that was they were about to launch following, and they asked me to be the DJ for the group Ruckus. I was like, what? Okay, we going. Wait a minute. Y'all both pregnant now at the same time? So how are we gonna? But I never left the dungeon, being in that space with the creative genius. Oh my gosh, not only of the talented artists, but Rico, Ray, and Pat just took things to a whole nother level. So I continued to spin, and there was a show coming. I was at the beauty salon, and I guess the guy didn't care. I was like, well, yes, I've been DJing, da da da. He's like, well, I need you to host this TV show. I was like, we don't do TV. We don't talk. We don't talk. I turn tables. I don't talk. You're talking the baggy jeans, the boots, the hats, the bodysuit, poetic justice was the wardrobe.
Right.
Okay. But I accepted the assignment, as petrified as I was, and Hot List Atlanta was born out of that.
Okay.
And had some incredible experiences and interviews from Eric Benet was the first. And let me just say, once you get your first, the rest will fall into place.
Yeah,
you just got to get that first. Keep grinding to get that first, and you can use that in further advancement and development. So once I talked to Eric Benet, which was dreamy, Destiny's Child and Kelly Price and Biggie Small's mom, Tupac's mom, so many other great interviews came from that. And my natural curiosity, love of learning, and my ear for just the blend really came into play. But, you can follow these artists and this talent and not be working on your own. And you're on their schedules and all those things. And as much as I admired and loved them, at the end of the day, I'm going home carrying the crates.
Right.
And I'm going home still trying to figure out how I'm going to get up and get to work on time. But I think it was a pivotal and important part of my journey is to have done that, because it did open up a space that, oh, wow, you can be the creative person that you are, as well as be a business person and a professional. And what do you know? Creative is professions. This is the way. This is the way, the truth, and the light. And I'm pretty sure I ran into, oh my gosh, and then I met Chuck D in person. And he just blew the roof off of it with me and had a delightful time and instruction. I learned so much from him, and it was the sister Gianna Garrell who had connected us. She heard about my radio story on my bike in WBLS, and she told him, and I think that just really made the difference of assuring and affirming that I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Gotcha. Well, like I said, and I mean, through that trip to Atlanta, I mean, it's amazing because you hadn't told me that story. Yeah, okay. Anyway, but it's fine. But I knew
tucked it away. It was in the crate.
I knew the hip hop connection, but I didn't know that part of it. But I mean, but even in that
DJ
right there,
shoot, I can go on and on. And I feel like I ran into Wiz along the way.
Probably did. But like I said, even coming through your story to get to that point, the first thing that really touched me and got me thinking as far as your way of overcoming the broken ankle, to where, like you said, because of the drive you have, you had to finish it, and you did. And then again, it was like, yeah, you think you did something to me, but you didn't. And then to turn around and find out that because of that, you missed that whole Desert Storm piece and all that to where you were able to move to the next piece where and it's almost like they say bad things happen to good people,
Yeah.
but good quality and good results come when you allow what people think is bad to turn out to be good. That was just another way of a door closing, saying, "No, I don't want you going."
Mhm.
God saying, "I don't want you going that way. I need you to do something else." So this break is on where I know I'm gonna slow you down.
Yeah.
If I gotta find a way to slow you, and you ain't stopping on your own. So okay, this happened, and then like I say, even after that happened, and you healed, you were able to move to the next piece, and that's the part of the story that I wanted people to understand and see when they see you and hear. And we just talking about this is just after college. We ain't even got to the 2023. We're talking about 2000 maybe just happened.
Right. 92.
You know what I'm saying? You coming from college in Atlanta, and I say on your journey to St. Louis.
Right. That's deep because the education piece came in. My only sister was born when I was 15. So poor thing, she grew up under the discovery years. All the various hair colors, the different modes. She poor thing, but I always had such a priority for her. When I did get my license at 16, I got the additional certification to drive the nursery school van to pick up the children for her daycare. And I got certified in as a substitute teacher and teacher's assistant. And I continued to be connected and involved in education and schools and children. So when I stopped chasing all the celebrities around, I went back to the classrooms and worked at middle and high school. I coached volleyball. That was the other sport I had done very well. And I was a part of the pep club. I led for them. I see, now you make it remember. Okay, so you were a cheerleader and you did the dance team at Hampton. So
but again, you don't talk in front of people.
Right? So that's like all this is going on while I'm like, crazy.
Hey,
so what it took, so in finding my voice, and I credit St. Louis for it for a lot. But even in those times when I went back to church, that's where I met my husband, who's from St. Louis. And it wasn't long after we were married and had our second child that he was like, "We're coming back to St. Louis." And I'm like, "No, there's no trees in St. Louis. I will wilt. I've been to your mother's." All I saw was gray skies and then her earthquake. Because I was DJing at the comedy club.
Okay.
Found my way in Atlanta. We'll just say Jade found her way. So when I was DJing at the comedy club, we were on the same nights. And so I was the music and the cadence then. But I used a picture. He was on a magazine and I pretended I was talking to him. Same what we did there. And that started to evolve. I created game shows, started using sound effects. I don't know. I think once you become more true in your authentic self, your gift weight makes way for you.
Yeah. And like I say, and to say that part, I mean, it's so funny because thinking about how we crossed and how we met was hilarious. To think about how that happened and how it is now.
Tell them how I got in your neighborhood.
I mean, and like